The warship Vanguard emerged from hyperspace above the blue and green surface of Therion 6. It was a quiet planet, covered in thick forests and silver oceans. Once a mining colony, it had grown into a vital outpost under Galactic Command. Commander John Carter stood on the bridge, hands behind his back, eyes locked on the large viewing screen. His crew worked silently around him, watching their instruments and sensors. "Status report," Carter said, his voice calm but firm. Lieutenant Vale, the ship's communications officer, frowned at her console. "No signal from the surface, sir. No response from Galactic Command. They're completely dark." Carter's jaw tightened. "Try all secure frequencies. Rotate through the emergency bands." Vale nodded and began cycling through channels. Static, silence, nothing. Carter turned to his second-in-command, Commander Royce. "We were scheduled to receive a docking sequence 2 minutes after arrival. This isn't a malfunction. Something's wrong." Royce nodded. "Scans show the orbital station is still there. Systems are powered, but no life signs. It's like they vanished." Carter's eyes narrowed. "Prepare a recon team. I want boots on the ground within the hour." The Vanguard was Earth's last Dreadnought-class ship still crewed by humans. Most others were run by AI or remote control. But Carter insisted on people, real decision-makers in times of crisis. "Captain," Vale said suddenly, voice tense, "I'm picking up a trace signal. It's brief, faint. Put it through," Carter ordered. The bridge speakers crackled. A broken voice came through. "Do not trust the and then silence. The signal vanished. Everyone froze. "Source?" Carter asked. "Originating from the command station. But it's fragmented, like someone tried to send it through a failing system." "Lieutenant Vale, start recording everything." "Royce, ready the landing craft. I'm not sitting in orbit while our people go missing." Carter walked toward the observation deck. Therion 6 slowly turned below, peaceful and still. But Carter had been in enough wars to know, silence like this wasn't peace. It was warning. He took a deep breath. "We go down," he said. "We find out what happened." Outside the ship, space remained silent. No ships, no movement, just the cold stars watching. The dropship Falcon 1 cut through Therion 6's thick clouds, descending toward the surface. Trees stretched for miles below, broken only by the steel towers of the Galactic Command Base. From the air, everything looked intact. Lights still blinked on the landing pads. Satellites still orbited nearby. But there were no people, no motion. Commander John Carter sat in the front seat, strapped in beside Lieutenant Vale. Across from them were 4 armed Marines, silent and alert. The silence wasn't just from nerves. It was something deeper, a feeling that something was terribly wrong. "Landing in 20 seconds, the pilot called out. The ship touched down with a hiss. The back ramp lowered slowly. A cool wind swept in, carrying the scent of burning metal. Carter led the team down the ramp, his boots echoing on the platform. The base was quiet, too quiet. Lights flickered in the overhead lamps. Equipment still ran. A shuttle sat docked nearby, untouched. It looked like the base had been evacuated in the middle of normal operations. "Stay sharp," Carter ordered. They moved through the outer corridor of the command complex. Paperwork lay scattered on desks. A coffee cup sat half full, still warm. Chairs were pushed back as if people had stood up and walked out in a hurry. But no signs of a fight, no blood. Vale examined a nearby console. "Power's still on. Systems are running. I'm pulling logs." Carter looked around the empty room. The silence felt heavy, like it had weight. "Where is everyone?" he said quietly. One of the Marines opened a door to the central operations hub. Inside, the large digital display showed a full planetary map. Red dots blinked where mining drones were still active. The base's environmental controls showed everything was normal, but there were no biosignatures. Not one. "I found something," Vale said. Carter walked over. She pulled up a video log, blurry and glitching. It showed a technician at his station. He looked stressed, tapping on a console. Then suddenly he turned sharply, as if hearing something. He opened his mouth to speak, but the footage froze. Static replaced the image. That's all? Carter asked. Vale nodded. The rest of the system's been corrupted or erased. Someone wanted this base wiped clean. Carter stood in silence. Not just gone. Covered up. The Marine team continued their sweep. They found personal items in sleeping quarters, half-eaten meals in the cafeteria, and tools dropped mid-task. But still no bodies. No blood. Just absence. We're not alone here, one of the Marines muttered. At that moment the power flickered. A strange humming sound came through the walls. Faint, mechanical. Did you hear that? Vale asked. Carter raised his hand for silence. The humming stopped. Then deep in the facility, a loud metallic clang echoed, like something large had moved. Weapons ready, Carter ordered. We're not leaving until we know what happened here. Outside, above the clouds, something shifted in orbit. A shape, invisible to sensors, watching. High above Therion 6, the Vanguard remained in silent orbit. The planet turned slowly beneath it, beautiful and calm. But on the bridge, the atmosphere was tense. Commander John Carter's voice crackled through the comms from the surface. No survivors. The base is intact, but abandoned. We found a corrupted log, and signs of a sudden evacuation. Something forced them out, and fast. Commander Royce, standing in command on the ship, nodded grimly. Understood, sir. We'll continue scanning for life signs or movement. The moment he spoke, the ship's alert sirens began to blare. Unknown contact. Dead ahead, shouted Ensign Marlowe. On the main screen, space shimmered, and something massive appeared. 3 sleek Cyrex vessels decloaked, black as obsidian, shaped like curved blades. No warning, no radio contact, just sudden quiet presence. Royce stared at the screen. Get me Carter. Now. Carter's voice came through a second later. I see them. They're in orbit. Krell's people. The comm crackled again. This time a cold, calm voice spoke, translated by the ship's system. This is Admiral Zalor Krell of the Cyrex Collective. You are trespassing in restricted space. Leave immediately, or be removed. Carter answered from the surface. This system belongs to the United Earth Coalition. Galactic Command went silent. We're investigating. Krell's voice remained calm. Galactic Command silenced itself. The truth belongs to those who claim it. Before Carter could respond, another alarm blared on the Vanguard. Commander, Marlowe shouted. Internal systems failing, navigation glitching, backup comms down. It's like we're being hacked. Royce's eyes widened. Full lockdown. Trace the intrusion. Lights flickered across the bridge. Control panels blinked randomly. Something was inside the ship's systems. Something fast and smart. Below on Therion 6, Carter turned to Vale. They've started electronic warfare. Cut our link with the ship. They want us blind. Vale was already working. I've blocked external signals. But sir, this could only happen from inside. Someone on board must have helped them. Carter's face hardened. Sabotage. Back on the Vanguard, systems began to stabilize as the security team located the source. A data spike in one of the engineering bays. Inside, they found Specialist Harlan, a quiet systems tech. He was curled up in a corner, shaking. I didn't mean to, he whispered. They showed me what we did. I had to help. Royce stepped forward. What did you do, Harlan? They said we destroyed their cities. That we lied about the peace. That command covered it up. I just opened a few channels. I didn't think they'd. He never finished. A pulse of energy burst from the ship's systems. The lights went dark. Then a second voice, unmistakably Cyrex, whispered through the comms. We warned you. This is just the beginning. The screen went black. In orbit, the Cyrex ships began to move, slow, steady, surrounding the Vanguard. On the ground, Carter looked up at the sky. He couldn't see the ships, but he could feel the weight of their presence. Everything's in motion now, he said quietly. Vale looked at him. What do we do, sir? Carter's voice was firm. We find the truth, and we survive. The war room inside the Vanguard was quiet. Emergency lights cast long shadows across the floor. Power was returning slowly after the sabotage. Crew members worked quickly, checking systems, securing data, and guarding every exit. Commander John Carter had returned from the surface. He stood alone at the center of the room, staring at the large tactical screen. 3 Cyrex ships still circled in orbit, watching, waiting. "Secure line to Admiral Krell," Carter ordered. Lieutenant Vale hesitated. "Sir, are you sure?" Carter nodded. It's time to hear his side. The line opened. A cold blue glow lit up the screen, showing the alien face of Admiral Satteril Krell. His features were sharp and smooth, with pale skin and deep black eyes that held no emotion. "Commander Carter," Krell said, "you are different from the others. You seek answers." "I do," Carter said. "But you crossed a line: sabotage, infiltration, threats. That's not peace." Krell leaned forward slightly. "Peace was broken long ago, by your leaders, not mine." Carter folded his arms. "Then show me." Krell turned and signaled someone off-screen. A new video appeared. It showed a small Cyrex colony, calm, peaceful. Then a flash. Human dropships appeared from the sky. Fire rained down. Screams. Children running. Buildings torn apart. The recording ended. "That was not war," Krell said. "That was a purge. Your Galactic Command ordered it, and your people believed it was necessary to keep the peace. But it was a lie." Carter stood silent, anger and disbelief burning inside him. Why would they do this? Krell's eyes narrowed. "Because we discovered something beneath the surface of Therion 6, something your command wanted to control alone. An ancient Cyrex artifact, buried deep underground. Your leaders feared what we might learn." Carter turned to Vale. "Can you confirm this?" She checked her datapad. "Sir, he's right. I've found sealed mission logs, redacted orders. The operation was real. It came from Earth." Carter felt a knot tighten in his chest. "And Galactic Command? What happened to them?" Krell answered coldly. "We arrived too late. They were already silenced by their own command center. Self-destruct triggered when they tried to send the truth. A final act to erase the evidence." Carter clenched his fists. "You could have told us sooner. You wouldn't have listened," Krell said. "You would have called it propaganda. But now you have seen it yourself." Carter turned off the screen. Silence filled the room. Royce stepped in. "What now, sir? Earth won't like this. If you speak up, you'll be court-martialed. Or worse." Carter looked around at his crew, loyal, shaken, but waiting for a leader. "I didn't join to protect lies," he said. "I joined to protect people. We exposed the truth. All of it." Vale nodded. "Then we need to broadcast it fast, before they try to stop us." Carter activated the main terminal. "Send the evidence to every UEC outpost, every neutral system, every allied world. No more silence." Outside, the Cyrex ships remained still, but no longer threatening. Inside, truth traveled faster than light. The transmission began. On every UEC outpost, space station and civilian relay across the sector, the message played footage of the destroyed Cyrex colony, the classified orders from Earth Command, and the final corrupted logs from Therion 6. Commander John Carter's voice followed, clear, steady, and direct. "This is Commander John Carter of the Warship Vanguard. What you're about to see was hidden from you. We have uncovered evidence of an unprovoked strike by Earth's own hand, and a cover-up that cost lives on both sides. The truth must be known." The transmission lasted only 2 minutes, but within hours it reached hundreds of channels, and thousands of people watched. On the Vanguard, the bridge was tense. Carter stood in silence, watching as confirmation signals came in, stations acknowledging receipt of the message, some stunned, others angry. Lieutenant Vale turned to him. "The truth's out, sir." Carter nodded. "Then the real storm begins." Moments later, the main comms lit up. An urgent message was coming from Earth's Central Command relay. It was brief, and the voice was cold. "Commander John Carter, you are hereby relieved of duty. Return the Vanguard to Earth for immediate debriefing. Failure to comply will be considered treason." Royce turned sharply. They didn't even ask questions, just gave the order. Carter looked at him. They don't need to ask. They already know it's true. Just then, another alert echoed through the ship. Incoming warp signatures, Vale called out. Multiple UEC warships entering orbit. On the main screen, 2 large Earth cruisers arrived, heavily armed and headed straight for the Vanguard. Their weapons were powered, but they hadn't fired yet. They're here to take us in, Royce said. Or take us out, Carter replied. Krell's voice came through the private channel again. Your own people are coming to silence you. I offer you protection. My ships will stand by your side. Carter hesitated. Siding with the Cyrex meant risking war with Earth, but surrendering meant burying the truth forever. He looked at his crew. You've all seen what we uncovered. You know what's at stake. I won't order you to follow me, but I can't turn my back on this. One by one the crew nodded. We're with you, said Vale. All the way. Royce stepped forward. Then we hold position. Defend ourselves if needed, but only if they fire first. Carter turned back to the comms. This is the Vanguard. We will not return. We will not be silenced. If you want to fire on us, know you're firing on your own truth. Outside, the Cyrex ships shifted formation, placing themselves between the Vanguard and the UEC cruisers. Both sides waited. Tension filled every corner of the ship. The crew stood at their stations, ready, but no one wanted to be the one to start a war. The seconds stretched like hours, and then, one of the UEC ships powered down its weapons. Vale gasped. They're standing down. The other cruiser hesitated, then followed. A message came in. Simple, quiet, from the captain of the lead ship. We saw the footage. You did the right thing. Good luck, Vanguard. The channel closed. Carter let out a slow breath. They listened, but deep inside he knew this wasn't over. The truth was out. But truth always came with consequences. The calm didn't last. Just as the UEC cruisers pulled back, more warp signatures appeared on the edge of the system. 4 new Earth warships, larger, fully armed and moving fast. Sir, Vale said urgently, new fleet incoming. These aren't here to talk. Carter watched as the ships formed an attack line. No warnings, no messages, just weapons charging. They're here to finish what the others wouldn't, Royce muttered. Carter nodded. Prepare for combat. Shields up, ready all weapons. The Vanguard powered up, its engines hummed. Gun turrets rotated into place. On the other side of the planet, the Cyrex ships rose into orbit, taking defensive positions beside the Vanguard. This will be the first time Cyrex and human ships fight on the same side, Carter said quietly. Let's make it count, Vale replied. The first missile came without warning. A white streak cut through space, straight at the Vanguard. Carter's crew fired interceptors. The missile exploded just before impact, rocking the ship. Minor damage, Royce said. Shields holding. Return fire, Carter ordered. Target their engines, not their lives. The Vanguard fired, precise sharp blasts disabling the lead cruiser's thrusters. One of the enemy ships drifted, powerless, unable to steer. Cyrex vessels moved fast, using cloaked maneuvers to slip behind the enemy formation. They launched silent pulses that scrambled Earth ship sensors, causing confusion. The battle turned chaotic. Space lit up with flashes, blues and reds clashing like fire in the dark. The Vanguard took another hit. Alarms blared. Sparks flew across the engineering bay. We've lost portside shielding, shouted a technician. Redirect power, Carter replied. Keep the core cool. Suddenly, a direct hit struck the communications tower. The screen went black. For a few seconds the ship was blind. Then Vale brought it back online. Comms restored. Damage contained. From the Cyrex flagship, Admiral Krell sent a single message. Your courage is noted, Commander Carter. We will hold the line with you. Carter answered simply, thank you. Another Earth ship charged forward. The Vanguard responded with a focused beam that knocked out its weapons array. Carter refused to kill. This wasn't about revenge. It was about survival. Minutes passed like hours. One Earth ship turned and retreated. Then another. The final two slowed, damaged and overwhelmed. Vale stared at her screen. They're pulling back. All of them. The battlefield went quiet. No more missiles, no more fire, just wreckage drifting in the dark, and the steady glow of stars beyond. Carter looked around the bridge. His crew was bruised, exhausted, but alive. No cheering. No celebration, just silence and relief. Royce stepped beside him. We won, somehow. Carter shook his head. No, we stopped fighting. That's all. The real war of truth and lies that one's just beginning. On the screen, Cyrex ships began to cloak again, vanishing into the black. Krell's voice echoed one last time. You stood for what mattered, John Carter. The galaxy will remember. The Vanguard drifted in orbit, scarred but steady. Below, Therion 6 remained untouched, quiet, and still hiding secrets beneath its soil. The fires were out. The enemy ships were gone. And for the first time in days, the Vanguard floated in calm space. The bridge was quiet. Lights flickered as engineers repaired damaged circuits. The crew moved slowly, speaking in low voices. There was no victory speech, no music, just the heavy silence of survival. Commander John Carter sat alone in his chair, staring at the stars through the forward screen. His hands rested on the arms of the command seat, but he looked tired, older than he had just days ago. Vale approached quietly. Transmission from Earth, sir. It's official. Carter nodded. Let me hear it. Her voice wavered as she read the message aloud. Commander John Carter is hereby charged with treason against the United Earth Coalition. The Vanguard is ordered to surrender immediately. All crew will be detained and interrogated. Earth Command will restore control of Therion 6 and assess all Cyrex interference. She lowered the datapad. They're not backing down. Carter closed his eyes briefly. They can't. If they admit the truth, their whole system falls apart. Royce stepped in. What do we do now? Go rogue. Fight every ship they send. Carter shook his head. No more war. No more hiding. We've done what we came to do. He stood and looked at his crew. We exposed the truth. We protected the innocent. We didn't fire unless we had to. That's who we are. That's who we stay. Vale looked uncertain. So, what now? Carter walked to the front of the bridge. Therion 6 turned slowly beneath them. He remembered the silence of its surface. The abandoned base. The log that ended mid-sentence. So many lives erased to protect a secret. We head to neutral space, he said. There are colonies out there. Places that still listen. We tell our story. We keep the record alive. Royce nodded. And if Earth sends more ships, Carter looked him in the eye. Then we do what we've always done. We stand our ground, and we don't lie. The crew began preparing for departure. Systems lit up. Engines warmed. Damage was patched. Shields restored. Before leaving orbit, Carter opened one last channel to the galaxy. This is Commander John Carter of the Vanguard. We are no longer under Earth's command. We are not traitors. We are witnesses. The truth is out, and we're still here. The message ended. Across distant systems, allies and strangers heard his voice. Some turned away, but some listened. As the Vanguard disappeared into deep space, the stars ahead shimmered with unknown paths and unseen threats. But Carter wasn't afraid. He had his crew, he had his ship, and he had the truth. That was enough.